everybody. We've made it to the Final Four in March Madness, and something strange happened on the way to the dance this year. We brought Cinderella. In a topsy-turvy, upset, crazy beginning, the tournament settled down like it usually does, and it looked like we would have 3 number 1 seeds and a 2 seed, but no. In the last game of the Elite Eight, UCLA crashes the party. And one thing's for sure, whether you run into a bear or a bulldog or a cougar or a Bruin, I would not want to see any of them on a dark Saturday night walking home. Welcome to the Father, Son, and Holy Sport. I'm G-Man from Ohio, and that there is T-Money from San Francisco. What's up, T?
What's going on? I'm excited to be here. Final Four is finally here. Crazy, rocking my G-Man pool party shirt, just to represent. Yeah, hot as hell here in San Francisco, though, 81 degrees. I know it's a little colder there, but man, are the West Coast people feeling hot as well. UCLA and Zaga get 2 West Coast teams in. I bet the Pac-12 and the rest of the West Coast are excited out here.
Oh, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You're just like you're hot. We're cold over here. All the teams coming from the West Coast. You're right. And it's going down to the 20s tonight in Ohio, high of 34 tomorrow. I'm still bundled up out here.
Yeah, hey, the other 2 teams are both from Texas, too, so they have no clue what you're talking about. Those ACC and Big Ten teams couldn't come through. It had to be the warm weather teams in Texas that take it home on the other side of the bracket, so...
Hey, man, you got my new Zoom background. My Zoom backgrounds have been pretty lucky overall. I've usually predicting the games when I have a background. So, hey, do you see the Baylor Bears up there? We're going to talk a little Baylor Bears today. We're going to talk some other people, too. But where do you want to start, man? What's on your mind?
Speaking of your last background, Alabama lost in what might be the best game of the year, though. Man, UCLA pulled out a hell of a win versus number 2 Bama in overtime. That was a fun game to watch.
Well, yeah, my Bama team finally lost, but I rode them through the SEC championship. They won that, and they did well in the tournament. They lose to a team that makes the Final Four. Hey, man, they're fine. They're fine. Bama's okay. It was a great game. They should have won it. They better be shooting foul shots for a long, long time. They should have been in it, and foul shots killed them.
Yep. I mean, UCLA has just had a kind of miracle run here. They beat a number 1 and a number 2 seed. Michigan, though, tough loss. UCLA played in another phenomenal game on Monday night. What an awesome game to watch. Hurt as a Michigan fan. It hurt because I had Michigan, and the knife was twisted in my back because Mick Cronin is Cincinnati's old coach, and he takes them to the Final Four. Oh, my God, that hurt. They missed
Very conflicted. Very conflicted. Well, I got the Mick Cronin gear on tonight in honor of Mick here. Our Ohio product is represented out there, even though you got all those West Coast teams.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting one. Michigan clearly missed livers. They missed their last 8 shots. They didn't have a go-to guy. But on the other side of the bracket, there's one team I'm a little intrigued by, other than the Cinderella. Is Houston actually a good team? I need to know, because they've only played double-digit seeds. First time that anyone's ever done that on their way to the Final Four. They haven't had
Houston. Yeah, first time. That's right. They're doing it on the offensive boards. They rank 2nd in the country in offensive rebounding. And so they're getting these second chance points, even though they're not doing that well in their first attempt. They get the ball back. And as an example, you look at the Oregon State game in the Elite Eight, they shot a worse percentage from the field and from 3-point range, but they got 15 more total shots than Oregon State. So they bring down 19 offensive boards that convert to 19 second chance points, and that's why they're winning.
That's clearly how you're going to win the game right there. They got to block out. That's going to be interesting. Houston's not a huge team either. Baylor has some size moving forward, but man, every game they played was close. They haven't really played any top-notch teams because, like I said, there's been a lot of upsets in that bracket. I'm worried that Houston might be ready for a punch in the mouth here from these Baylor Bears. But
we are going to find out. We're going to find out what they're really made of. I think they got some athletes. We're going to find out, man, because there's some good teams in this final.
Yeah.
and it's going to go down. And congrats to the guys who did the seeding. I've been on the guys on the seeding because I think the seeding was kind of messed up this year, and maybe because they just couldn't see enough games, but non-conference games. But I still congratulate the seeding for making that Gonzaga Baylor the last game. You know, it's not a semifinal game. Thank God they put it that way when they set it all up.
Yeah, that's a good one. I totally agree. This rest of the seating has been horrible, but who you got right now headed into the Final Four as your MVP of the tourney? What do you think?
Well, I got to look at, okay, who are the teams that are doing well and who is the guy leading them? And we look at Gonzaga. Timmy has the best stats. He's been the guy. He's, they're winning by 20 points a game though. And the thing I'm thinking of is, even though Timmy, it probably has the best stats of anybody, if he was not on the floor, would they still win? Yes, they would. I think they would still win. Baylor's been winning by 10 points a game, and Gonzaga's been winning by 20. And so if I had to pick someone, I would pick someone from Baylor, Davion Mitchell, who's in the background behind me. Davion Mitchell has been the guy. He's been the spark plug. He doesn't have the big stats like Timmy does, but the guy's a spark plug. He plays unbelievable defense. He fires the guys up when they need it. He's 5 assists, per game. He's getting assists too. He's a team player, but he's only the third leading scorer because their team is so doggone good. But his defense and his way he fires the team up, I think has helped them win games, and they would not be where they are without him.
Interesting. I agree.
What do you think?
I agree he's a key piece to that team. I don't know if he's anywhere near the contending guys. I think Timmy's probably at the top of everybody's list because, like you said, he has the stats. He's on the best team. I think Houston's guard, I think his name's Judon. I can't remember his name. I might be getting that wrong, and I apologize. Defensive Player of the Year in the AAC, kind of carries that team all around, triple-double threat kind of guy. Just really, really good player. I think he's up there. But my vote is for Johnny Juzang from UCLA. That guy averaging over 20 points a game in the biggest game of his career. He goes for 29 versus Michigan. No one else scored in double digits on that team. He was carrying them. At one point, I believe he had like 80% of their points. He shot 60% from the field, twisted his ankle, came back. He's playing really well through this whole tournament, and basically is the only reason UCLA is scoring enough points to even be in this thing. And everyone knows it's going to him, and he is just making everything with hands in his face. So I got to look towards Johnny Juzang because he's the best player on that team that made a Final Four. Cinderella really carried them.
You Cali boys stick together, don't you? You just got to get that Cali team in there, don't you, man? He's not the MVP of this tournament. There's no way. Now, has he done well? Yes, he has carried them in some big games, but they beat Alabama without him. He was on the bench in foul trouble, and they won that whole thing without him. He fouled out of the game. So if I thought about him, he's definitely in my top 7. He's in my top 7, but because he did not help them, he did not help them beat Alabama. That's a big knock against them. They can win without him.
I agree with that, but I disagree they can win without him. My thing is if Timmy was on UCLA, do you think he could do the same exact thing knowing that everyone is going to go for just Timmy? No one else on UCLA scores in double digits. This guy scores over 20 a game. He had one hiccup versus Alabama, but other than that, he's been killing opponents, even though they know he's the only guy on the team scoring.
Well, we might have to take this over to Ross v. Ross next week if this keeps up.
That'll be So
what else you got going on, man? What else you got going on?
From one LA team to the next, I think.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Lakers signed Andre Drummond, big center pickup. He's only 27. He can get you 20 and 15 every night. One of the best rebounders in the league, maybe the best. Big pickup for them, I think. He'll fill a much needed scoring role as well while Anthony Davis and LeBron James are out with injury.
There's a lot of moves going on. People are making moves in the NBA. They're trying to get ready for the home stretch here.
I know. It's going to be interesting. Andre Drummond tweeted out 10 years ago when he was in college, hopefully one day I can play with LeBron James. Well, you got your wish. Playing with LeBron James. So that's exciting. But also at the same time, the Nets added LaMarcus Aldridge. I'm not sure what he really adds because I think they really needed a defensive stopper, a center, someone to rebound and really do the nitty gritty stuff. And he's not that. He's kind of a mid range offensive guy. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he really fits their needs.
Well, the Nets have officially passed the Lakers, according to Vegas Insider. They're now the lead odds to win the NBA championship. Brooklyn Nets plus 240 or 12-5 odds. The Lakers plus 300 and the Clippers at plus 550. So the Nets now with their moves, which I know we're going to talk about some of the other ones, and they're now favored to win it.
Yeah, I mean, they just have an easier path than the Lakers. They have so much talent. I'm almost worried for Steve Nash as a first-year coach, first-time coach, now first-year head coach, that he has to deal with LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin possibly coming off the bench as former All-Stars. That's got to be tough. It's interesting to see these guys get rid of these teams. We'll talk about the buyout market later, but
if he can handle Sir Charles, he can handle anybody.
Yeah, true. So, last thing I'll mention here, what's going on in the world here. 49ers make a big move this past weekend and trade up from the number 12 pick in the draft to the number 3 pick with the Miami Dolphins. Miami then flips that with Philadelphia to the 6th pick. So now it's the Niners at 3 instead of the Dolphins at 6 instead of Philadelphia, and Philadelphia at 12 instead of the 49ers. What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's a good move. I mean, that 3rd pick is going to be a quarterback. I feel for Jimmy G. I feel like Jimmy G has done what he needed to do. And I listened to the coaches and the general manager, and they're saying, we're just looking at our options. They're saying all that stuff. But, man, they're not satisfied with Jimmy G, even though he led them a long way. I know his stats are not, but if there's so many injuries around Jimmy G, but, I see why they're doing it. A question I have is, who do you think they're going to take? Who are they going to take in that 3rd pick, and are they really going to be better than Jimmy G?
Yeah, I mean,
because I don't know that Zach Wilson is better than Jimmy G.
Well, Zach Wilson.
Justin Fields is better, but not Zach Wilson.
Okay, pump the brakes on your OSU bias over here while I school you in here's what's going on. Okay, Trevor Lawrence.
Well, you're kind of breaking out there, man.
Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson are off already. They're going to the Jags and the Jets. So Zach Wilson, I don't care about. It's gonna come down to Mac Jones, Trey Lance, and Justin Fields. I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of rumors about all of them. I hear it's Mac Jones, which would be super weird. I think
he is coming up. He is being pushed up to the top now. You're right.
I think it should be Justin Fields. I think he would fit best in that system, and he's more ready to go. But don't be surprised if it's Trey Lance. Everyone's saying other than Trevor Lawrence, he is the best prospect raw talent-wise. He just needs a year to sit. So we'll see. Going to be interesting. I like what the Dolphins did too. They moved down to 6 and they get an extra draft, 2 first round and a 3rd round. Instead of going down to 12, they can still get a high-end Kyle Pitts, Jamari Chase type talent. I really liked that. And Philly going to 12 basically means Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback moving forward.
Yeah, I'd rather have Jalen Hurts than Tua. I don't know about you. But I'm a little worried about Tua taking the reins here in Miami. I'd rather have Jalen Hurts.
That's a great debate. Might have to throw that on the Ross v. Ross roster there. That's a great one. Jalen Hurts or Tua. I might lean.
Well, we're going to be talking about that. We got a great show for you here tonight. We're going to be focusing on, of course, March Madness and the Final Four coming at you this weekend. You're going to be hearing this recording probably Thursday or Friday. And the games start Saturday night, man. But today we have Tyler's Teirs. We're bringing that to you, breaking down the current rankings of the NBA's best players under 25. And we're going to give you some big picks for your Final Four. We've come through for you overall. We've given you some picks. We're going to give you some more. We have Ross v. Ross talking about the best coach so far in the madness. And we try to stump Team Money again in the Trivia of the Week, sponsored by Woonwise IQ. Team Money, you ready for this?
Bring it.
Who was the last team from Texas to win the national championship? Okay, we got 2 teams from Texas in here. We got Houston and we got Baylor in the Final Four. 2 of them. Who's the last team from Texas to win it? You think about
Okay.
that, bro. But kicking it off for you right now is the T. Ross Chug and Chant. And T Money, we'll see you in a little bit. You're going to head up right now to the rooftop, and we'll see you in a bit. And this segment is brought to you by Help Me Startup. Today's T. Ross Chug and Chant, brought to you by the Help Me Startup team. Do you have a startup or a new company idea? Why not get help from the experts at Help Me Startup? Try the easy-to-use startup tools and advice to help you get moving on your way toward investment and success. Learn more at helpmestartup.co. Okay, let's go to T Money high up on the San Francisco rooftops for the T Ross Chug and Chant.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? T Money coming to you live from the beautiful San Francisco rooftop. 80 degrees. I'm sweating out here, but man, look at that view. I got G-Man's pool party shirt on, obviously rocking that because March Madness is wrapping up here. But this week, I'm going to talk a little NBA. Obviously, it's the Chug and Chant. Let's do my chug first. Give me a second, listeners here. Woo, that's refreshing on a hot day. Well, here's my chug and chant here this week. NBA. I'm sick of this buyout market that's becoming bigger and bigger nowadays. I didn't mind it back in the day, picking up a small role player here and there. But now these teams are signing big-time free agents. Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, Andre Drummond, JJ Redick. These are big-time guys. And I don't mind them getting bought out. I mind the fact that now championship teams can create even bigger super teams at price points that these guys should not be at. Come on, guys. I know you want to win, but let's not form too many super teams here. You know, Kevin Durant, what are you doing? You're doing Golden State 2.0 over here. I thought you went over there to win and prove that you didn't need a super team to win. LeBron, you didn't need this center. Anthony Davis played center all through the playoffs last year. I'm sick of these buyout markets. Let's get competitive again. And these buyout guys, what are you doing quitting on your teams? You signed this contract. Commit to it. All right? Let's get it together here. I don't like this. Let's change this. I'm sure these small market teams are going to change this in the next CBA because they're not happy with it either. Gary, what side of the fence do you lean on here?
And hey, T Money, yeah, hey, what side am I on? I'm siding on your side overall. I'm siding on your side. Overall, I'm open to any kind of ways to get people on the team and off the team. So, the general idea, people moving around, I'm cool with. But I agree with your sentiment there, man. At the buyout market, for those of you who don't know, it's where, players join up with other stars. They quit their teams. They leave in the middle of their contract. So we're not talking about free agents. We've had some of that happen lately, especially with the Nets. Building up these super teams, we've seen that start back in Miami, T Money, when with the LeBron and the crew, and they won some titles there. And ever since, people are stacking up teams, and now they're doing it in the middle of their contract.
Yeah. And for a little more context here, I think a lot of times the buyout market is for huge contracts, like LaMarcus Aldridge or Blake Griffin, where they have a year or two left. Say Blake Griffin had 2 years, $60 million left on his, I think they settled for, they're going to pay him out $50 million this year, right? So he gets a little less, but he gets off the team immediately. Now, a lot of times these teams are trying to trade them at the trade deadline and they can't find a partner. So they mutually agree to a buyout and to part ways. So they're not always quitting. Sometimes the teams quit on them. But yeah, I think there needs to be a threshold now, maybe, of some sort of buyout market number where even if you get bought out, if your contract is X, you count this amount against the new team's cap that you sign with, because I don't think a guy that's worth 30 million a year should be able to get his money and then get to be a free agent and choose wherever he wants to go in the middle of a season and tag along like Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge to a team that doesn't have the money to do it.
And the big thing is, I agree with all that. And I think the additional thing on top of that is the team that's picking them up are paying minimum salary. So they're not paying the amount they should pay. And I think that's where they got to dial it up and make that new team pay the big bucks, and that'll shut it off.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be addressed. I've heard that NBA owners of small market teams are upset about this because they feel like they have an unfair advantage in the buyout market. So I think there's going to be some change in the next few years. The CBA is up in 2024 for the NBA, so watch out for that. There could be some repercussions if this becomes a regular thing, but just sick of it. Finish on your contracts. Try to figure out some trades. This seems
Hey man,
it's becoming too easy.
Hey, what I really like is the way you chug that beer and you show that passion, man, and you call out people. You called out Gonzaga, and we're going to see if Gonzaga answers T-Money. T-Money called him out in the Chug and Chin. And let's see if the Gonzaga team brings it, man. We're going to talk about our picks coming up, but let's go now to Ross v. Ross. We're going to debate here. Who's the coach of the year so far in the tourney? And it could be one of the coaches in the Final Four. It could be someone else that's not even in the Final Four. I don't know what you're going to say, T-Money, but who do you think so far is the coach of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be someone in the Final Four here. And I think the only correct answer, I feel like, should be Mick Cronin. And it hurts my heart. How is he not still with us? Or how do we not give him the resources to do this? And of course, he could never get to a Sweet 16, even with us. But he takes this play-in team, 11 seed, to the Final Four. That's awesome. I mean, he beat a number 1 and a number 2 seed on the way there. Only team to do that in this Final Four. He held Bama to 64 in regulation, and they are a very high scoring team. Holds Michigan to under 50. No one other than Dickinson scores double digits, and he only has 11. I mean, they're just shutting down teams. He's completely changed the way UCLA plays. They were the 5th highest paced team by play 2 years ago before he got there. Now they're one of the 6 teams. He slowed them down, and he has them playing hard and good defense. He's been the coach of the league, our coach of the tournament so far, because he's just proved he can beat these top tier teams as a play-in team.
Look at that American Conference. They got the coach, and that's why I got the Cincinnati hat. I think it's Mick Cronin too, but look at the American Conference. They got Cronin from Cincinnati. They got Houston in this thing. Yep. Look at the conference trying to show their stuff here, man. But I look at the other coaches, I think the Zags and Baylor have to win it all for those coaches to be coach of the year. Agreed. This is not good enough for either team to be where they're at. They're both stacked. They got to win it all. They win it all, I'll make you my coach of the year.
Yeah.
Alabama could have been the story. I think Alabama could have been that team, but UCLA took him down. I thought Alabama had it. But I wrote down yesterday, just thinking about this segment, whoever the coach is that wins the UCLA-Michigan game last night, that's who I think is going to get it. If Michigan would have won, I would have said Michigan. I would have said Juwan Howard. But because they now knock off Alabama and UCLA, it's got to be Mick Cronin, the fiery defensive coach. You see that defense that Cincinnati's always had, and he's bringing it here to UCLA. I think he's a great pick for coach of the year so far.
Yeah, totally agree. And I agree with you. Baylor or Gonzaga's teams could get it. Mark Few is easily going to get coach of the year if they go undefeated. First team since Indiana to do that since like 76. So yeah, those guys have to do it. Houston, Kevin Sampson's playing great defense too. He hasn't really played anyone hard yet, so I can't give it. Mick is clear.
No way.
To this point, Mick Cronin has clearly been the coach of the tournament.
Calipari was the first choice for the Bruins, and the Bruins, in fact, went down their list, and I think Cronin was like their 5th choice.
I don't even know if he was top 5. He might have been 10th.
Yeah, well, Calipari was first, and Calipari is the highest paid coach in the country. And he basically used the negotiation to get a higher paid contract to Kentucky. They go to Cronin, and Cronin does not let them down, man. No. You're witnessing the revival of UCLA. Could this be Cronin bringing back the Bruins we've always talked about that won all the titles? Yep. And this is their starting point right here, this Final Four.
Yeah,
they don't have any seniors. There's no seniors on this team.
No, they don't. And the one thing about UCLA, they don't hang Final Four banners. They only hang championship banners. So
I like that. So, hey, who do you think makes the most money out of the Final Four coaches?
Mark Few.
That is incorrect. It's Mick Cronin, $3.6 million. Really? He's number 18. He's number 18 in the country. Scott Drew, $3.3 million. Scott Drew right behind him at Baylor.
Surprising.
Sampson of Houston was not listed in the USA Today report, but they think he's around $3 million. And Mark Few, 57th ranked, making $2 million.
He must have a ton of incentives. He must be all incentive based.
Well, it better be tied to winning it all.
Jesus. We'll see, Gonzaga. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
But Scott Drew,
UCLA
I mean, what a
got
great
there when-
story.
last
Yeah,
time
go ahead.
UCLA got there, Kevin Love and Russell Westbrook were on the team, 2008. So good job, UCLA, getting back. 13 years, been a long time for you guys.
Yeah, and these coaches, we're going to talk a little bit more about, but they're all kind of in that same group, all about the same caliber. They've all
Yeah.
been either to none or one Final Four. I mean, they're all
Yeah.
pretty close when you look at these four coaches.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mark Few's in a little bit of a different class. He's been to a Final Four. He's had undefeated teams. He's been number one in the country. These other three,
Sampson's been to a Final Four
back in the day with Missouri, right?
with Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, and he played Missouri. Yeah, so I think Mark Few is the top tier, but Sampson's good. The other two are just getting going.
Okay, that sounds good, man. Hey, let's move on to Tyler's Teirs. We know you got something for us. When we don't do the interviews, everybody, we do Tyler's Teirs. So that's why you see it
Right.
every other time. And T Money is going to put together some tiers of the best players under 25. You want to tell us what you got or show us what you got?
Yep. So you can see on screen now, we got Tyler's Tiers. All right. Tyler's Tiers. Tier 1. This is the best players under 25. Okay. I'm going to give you the top 12. I'm not going to go through them all. Top 12 best players under 25 that you maybe want to start a franchise with, blah, blah, blah. Tier 1. Pretty obvious. Luka Doncic, Zion Williams. Both of these guys average almost 30 a game. Both dominant. Zion's so powerful. Luka's such a playmaker. They might be in tier 1 and the next groups are in tier 3 automatically. There's not even, that's how far the gap is between everyone else and these two. Okay. So, but either way, a long tier 2 down, okay, a long ways away from these guys. Jason Tatum, great scorer, really lengthy, 6'8", can score from anywhere. He's there. Devin Booker, people forget he's so young because he came into the NBA at like 17. He's right there. And then Donovan Mitchell. I loved what he did last year in the playoffs. His defense is great. That's your tier 2. Tier 3, Ben Simmons. He's got to do more to prove that he can carry a team. Then you got Jaylen Brown, who's becoming a star in his own. Great defender, like a baby Kawhi Leonard. Jamal Murray showed out in the playoffs last year, but I just don't know if he can carry a franchise yet. And the last one, tier 4, a bunch of young guys: Trae Young, Brandon Ingram, Bam Adebayo. Not sure you can build around a center in today's age, so he's a little lower. And then Ja Morant, who's just a high flyer but really young. So those guys, that's your top 12 NBA players under 25. What do you think, Gary?
Hey man, you know your stuff. You know your stuff. I mean, I know. I see get a couple holes here. There's a couple of holes I can see.
Okay. What do you got?
One of the things I thought Adebayo and Trae Young, I thought they'd be a little higher. When I look at that tier 4, those guys are doing pretty well this year, and I just thought they'd be up maybe at that tier 3, tier 2.
Yeah, but Trae Young didn't make an all-star game, and his team is one of the worst in the East, even though he's averaging a ton of points and assists. I'm big on what translates to wins. Take Chris Paul, for example. I think he averages like 13 points a game, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. But he has turned the Suns into a team that hasn't made the playoffs in like 13 years to 3rd in the West. So there's value in people that can win. And his game is not translated into winning yet. He's just putting up numbers because the points got to come from somewhere, and he's just chucking them up. So Ingram, I like, or not Ingram, Adebayo at the same time. He can't facilitate on his own. He's still growing into who he is. He's a great shot blocker, great defender, but he can't take over games yet. He hasn't proven to be the guy you can throw down to the post and he's going to get you a bucket in the most substantial time of the game. That's Jimmy Butler for them. So once you can learn to carry a franchise, like Donovan Mitchell's the best player on his team. Devin Booker's the best scorer on his team. Jason Tatum's the best player on his team. I just think Adebayo isn't there yet. He has the potential. And like I said, it's hard to build around centers in today's age. You need score.
Can you carry a team? Can you carry a team? Hey, man, there's one that's not on your list, or a couple of I was going to say some guys that weren't on your list. What about LaMelo Ball, man? LaMelo Ball, Charlotte's 3rd overall pick, not on the list.
Yeah, I mean, he was really good this year, was definitely the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. I just don't think he's at Ja Morant's level yet. He's definitely not at the scoring or passing level of Trae Young, Brandon Ingram. He's not at their scoring level. Defensively, Bam Adebayo's at another level. All those guys have been all-stars or close to it. He was good for Rookie of the Year, and I like him. He might be around 18, 20 on my for a rookie. That's great. But yeah, he's just not there yet. And then Sabonis, I know you were gonna bring him up from the Pacers. He doesn't jump off the screen to me. And for me, when I think of the best players, you got to be able to really have an impact on the game. And he is a solid player, but I think he's like a glorified role player more than he is a guy that you can build a franchise around.
Hey, what do you think about these three young guys for Oklahoma City? We got Shy, we got Moses Brown, we got Tony Bradley. Now, these three young guys, they're 21, 22, 23. What do you think about who's going to, come out of that pack of three?
Okay. Well, I think there's not who's going to come out. Shy is the best player of them. He's actually probably 13th on my list here. He was the next.
So I did hit one there.
You hit one, and I almost had him on this list. I just didn't put him on there because they're not having that great of a year this year, and he's not.
I was trying to be nice to you, man.
Since
I was
Chris
trying to be
Paul
nice
left, he hasn't been as great. But Shy is right there. He is phenomenal. Great. You got to be under Chris Paul for a year. I really like Shy.
Plus he's got an awesome name too.
Yeah. So
Shy Gilgeous Alexander.
Love it.
Hey, that's good.
He's right there.
Hey, the one last one I'll say is, where's Karl Anthony Towns? You don't think he's good enough to get on this list? He's got some good stats when you look at his player efficiency rating.
Is he 25 or man? Is he really that young?
He's 25. He's 25 on the button. So I may be.
Gosh. Well, if he's 25 on the button, then I guess I got to put him higher here. I'm not sure.
We said under 25. So you're right. We said under 25.
I said under 25, didn't I? So
yeah.
If he's 25 here, I'll just throw him in this list right now.
You think he goes there? All right. I just wonder, man.
Shit. So I'll throw him in this list right now. I'm going to put him at like tier 3. Ben Simmons,
All right. Okay. Give him some love. We're giving Minnesota some love here.
He's probably one of the best scoring centers in the NBA, but his defense is atrocious and his game has not translated to wins. Minnesota has been perennially the worst team in the NBA with him on it. So I can't give him that high of a grade, but he's so skilled offensively. He's probably tier 3 for me. All
right. Hey, this is a great list of young guys, and the future of the NBA is still in good shape here with these guys coming up. There's some great players there. Great pick and tee for Tyler's Teirs. Let's move on to the picks of the week. You know that we've been good at this all the way through football season and into basketball season. And, we gave you our best bets. Last time we talked to you, we were in the Sweet 16. And, hey, man, I told you guys Oregon State and USC would win. They won the next 2 games. They both made it to the Elite 8. I gave you the money, man. I gave you guys the money. I know they didn't make the Final Four, but, man, they were close. But, hey, hope you guys are making some cash off of T Money and I. We got 4 teams here that are in the Final Four that have 4 pretty close coaches in terms of their capability and what they've done. So I don't think the coaches are going to separate themselves. But we're going to pick here. We're going to start with the best bet against the spread on Saturday. 5:15. We got Baylor -5 against Houston. The over-under is 135. T, you can pick the over-under too if you want. 5:15, Baylor -5 against Houston. Over under 135. 8:30 games, Gonzaga -14.5 versus UCLA. Over unders 146. So out of all of those numbers there, T, which one do you like for your best pick for Saturday?
Well, since you got 2 last week, why don't I just take 2 here? Since I'm gonna go with both favorites. Take them both. Gonzaga has already won this game. UCLA is not even close to them in competition-wise. Michigan was hurt without Livers. That was a good game. Bama, I never thought was that great. Gonzaga's another level. They're going to blow these guys out. 14 points is a lot, but Gonzaga's beat every one of their opponents by more than 20. So I'm not worried about Gonzaga. And Houston, they just can't compete with Baylor's speed. Their guards are too quick. Their size inside is too good. They won't get as many offensive rebounds. I'll take Baylor to win big because Houston can't score with them. 5 points is easy for me. So both favorites, take them.
My man is going with chalk all the
Chalk,
way.
baby.
Man, I can't believe you're going all chalk. But hey, man, and the Battle of Texas, the first game is the Battle of Texas. And then the second game is the Battle of the West. And in the Battle of Texas, I'm going Baylor -5. And so I'm joining you, man. I'm going with that chalk in the Battle of Texas. Baylor leads the country this season in team three-point shooting percentage, 41%. They shoot from three, 41%. You probably think of some of these other teams and they've had some bad games. But, man, when they get on fire, you got to watch out.
Yeah.
And I think they're too much for Houston. I agree with you, man. We're both on Baylor. That's a good sign for our fans to go out there and put some cash down. My second bet, I'm not touching that second game. I mean, UCLA is too dangerous, man.
Yeah.
This is going to be a showdown because I think the winner is the king of the West. Is Nick Cronin really turning around UCLA? Are they going to be back? Is this the time when they're starting to rise up? Is that going to be the story? Or is this going to be Gonzaga going undefeated? Is this going to be the Gonzaga story? And I just can't go against UCLA. A 14-point dog. That's the largest spread in the history of the Final Four. And UCLA's been just coming through. I'm not betting that game, man. I'm going Baylor and over for my top picks. Over on the Baylor game. Those are my top two picks.
Okay, I see. Nice. I like the over. I was surprised you didn't want to take the under for the UCLA game because of that defense. But, it's going to be
well, Gonzaga just goes down and fires. I mean, they're not even waiting. Yeah. They're going down and they're firing torpedoes. Yeah. That team plays so fast.
It'll be
so it's an amazing team to watch. But I think UCLA will try and slow it down. They have to. They cannot play at that pace. Hey, let's talk about who's going to win it all then. These teams, winner of each game plays. This is going to be, if it is Baylor Gonzaga, I'm going to see what you think. But I think it's going to be Baylor Gonzaga in the final. It's going to be an NBA game with all those NBA players. Who do you like to win it all?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be awesome. This is the number 1 and number 2 team pretty much most of the season. So it would be great. I picked Baylor Gonzaga, obviously, in my last 2 picks here. This is Gonzaga's to lose. Now, I've come at you, Gonzaga. Prove me wrong. This is yours to
yes, you have.
Win this. I think it would be a shootout. But Gonzaga has a bit better of a defense, I actually think. And Jalen Suggs will be the best player on the floor, and he plays for Gonzaga. And I think he can close this one out in a close game. So I'll take Gonzaga in a shootout.
Oh, man. We're going to have to put some cash down because I'm going Baylor. Okay? The Baylor, the superstars in the Baylor team came back this year. They were a number 1 seed last year. And those players decided we're coming back and we're going to try to win this thing. And they made it all the way back. And I think they'll be in the final. Jared Butler, Davion Mitchell, Masio Teague also. They're a guard heavy. Those 3 guards. I don't know how you're going to stop them. And I know you love Ken Pom. Ken Pom, they're the number 3 offense in adjusted efficiency according to Ken Pom data, man, which means they can blow teams away with offensive firepower. And that's what they're gonna do to Gonzaga because Gonzaga does not have the killer instinct, man. They blow people out in that West Coast Conference. They coast their way to victory. They did it again last night. I mean, they just coast their way in. They were up by 20.5 and won by like 18. They just don't bring that killer instinct that I like to see in teams like Davion Mitchell has. Davion Mitchell has killer instinct. That guy will take you to the woodshed, and that's what Baylor's going to do to Gonzaga, and Gonzaga's not going to know what hit him.
All right. Well, we'll see. They're just so good. They don't have to actually play hard in the second half of games. So I'm just saying the guy that we both think might be MVP of the tournament is their 3rd best player on Gonzaga's team, and Timmy Kispert and Jalen Suggs are both better overall players and NBA prospects. So the talent is there and they can score just as much. It's going to be an awesome shootout of a game.
2016, North Carolina loses the championship game. They come back in 2017 and they win it by beating Gonzaga. Gonzaga's only time to the title was that 2017 game. North Carolina coming back after that loss, came back and beat them with less than 2 minutes left. Gonzaga had the lead. And that's a Mark Few issue, man. 2 minutes left. You have the lead. You should win that game. That's on the coach. North Carolina scores the last 8 points and wins by 6 to take the title out of Gonzaga's hands and break their heart, man. Do you think that is going to be on their mind? You think it's going to be something that bothers them?
No, because no one on this team was there for that. And 2, the biggest reason Gonzaga is better this year than they ever have been is because they finally have a top-tier recruit. They've always been a phenomenal team and had great seniors and great chemistry and really good college basketball players, but they never had great NBA players or recruits that can close out games. Jalen Suggs, one of the top recruits in the country, highest recruit in Zaga history, actually, and is now on their team, potential top 5 pick in this draft. He is the reason they can win this game because he's made buzzer beaters. He's closed out games for them in the regular season. He has the killer instinct that no one else in Gonzaga seems to have, and he is the reason they can get over that hump. I would not if it wasn't for the fact that he's on that team.
No, they have a great team. No, I don't mean to discount them. Gonzaga fans, man, you guys are good. You guys are
Prove
good. But
me right.
we're talking about
prove me wrong. I don't know.
We're talking about the final 2. That's all. You're good enough to get to the final 4, but I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. I love their players. So you're right. They got some really good talent.
You like how I'm hedging my bet here, real quick, Gary? You like how I'm hedging my bet? If Gonzaga doesn't get there, I win my chugging chant, and if they do win it all, I win my pick.
That is true. That is true. But so you won't give them credit if they make the final 2.
No.
Okay. All right.
Be a big boy. Be a big boy.
Hey, man, let's shift to the final topic here. Wound-wise trivia of the week, man. Let's see what you got here. We've given you a chance to think about this, man. Wound-wise trivia of the week brought to you by Wound-wise IQ. It's a patented mobile imaging and analytics software application that's used by leading physicians and nurses caring for people with chronic and surgical wounds. Just download the app from the App Store. You're ready to go. Learn more at woundwiseiq.com. Okay. So T-Money, we got this Battle of Texas going on in the Final 4, Houston versus Baylor. Who was the last team from Texas to win the national championship? Was it one of them?
So I want to say Rick Barnes at Texas won a championship. And I know Kevin Durant went there, but I'm almost certain they didn't. So my pick is Houston and Phi Slamma Jamma 1987.
That was a trick question I pulled on you, bro. That was a trick question. That's what I thought you would say. But it was not. It was not the 82-84. 82-84 Phi Slamma Jamma. They're the best team to never win a title. They went to 3 straight Final Fours and did not get it. And as an ESPN 30 for 30, I know you probably saw on Phi Slamma Jamma. Then I thought you would think it was them, but no, it was Texas Western in 1966.
Glory Road.
Other people might know them as UTEP, the University of Texas El Paso, coached by Don Haskins.
First 5 all-black players to play.
First team to win with an all-black starting lineup. First team to win. So it's kind of a trick question for you there, man, going after. I thought you'd go for Houston with Phi Slamma Jamma, who kind of turned the page on playing above the rim. They had these guys that could play above the rim, that style with Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler, Clyde the Glide and Hakeem the Dream. They're Hall of Fame NBAers. They won a championship. Houston Rockets, they won a championship together. They came out of Houston and went to the Houston Rockets. Isn't that crazy? That they went there and won a title.
I'm ticked. I should have known that they didn't win. That was before my time. So, I'm giving myself a break there. But funny you mentioned that. I literally just watched the movie about that Texas Western team. It's called Glory Road. They made a movie out of it.
Glory Road. Right. That's right.
Yeah. So I know exactly that team, UTEP now. Yeah. They first starting, they beat Rupp at Kentucky that year, who started.
They beat Kentucky. You're right. That's right. They beat Kentucky, which was a big thing.
Yeah,
that's
Rupp
right.
Was kind of a little racist-y back in the day, so it was a great win for college basketball, and it's boomed ever since.
Yeah, that really was an inflection point in college basketball in a lot of reasons. And that 1983 Houston team that got to the finals. So everybody remembers North Carolina State with that last-second shot that was short. Lorenzo Charles grabs it under the rim and makes it, and Jimmy V running around the court. He was coaching North Carolina State. He's running around the court
Did we
and he was
win?
trying to find somebody to hug. Jimmy V.
Oh, what a great one.
Oh yeah, but that was against Phi Slamma Jamma. Jimmy V won that
Jeez.
title, man. That was crazy. But hey, the state of Texas, hey man, do you think one of those teams can come out and get this in? We got Houston and Baylor.
We'll
Hey, if
see.
they can win it, that really helps out. What will be the story? And when you think about, will it be a team from Texas? Will it be Gonzaga going undefeated? Will it be the Pac-12 and their resurgence?
Yeah.
Or, will it be all the upsets we've seen? What do you think this 2021 tournament is going to be remembered for?
I mean, I think this is just Gonzaga's tournament. I think it's the year of Gonzaga. They go undefeated. They've dominated this much. No one can touch them. They might win every game by more than 20 points. I think it's just Gonzaga's dominance is going to be the story of this one.
Oh, T-Money. Hey, that's great, man. This is going to be fun to watch. Next week, We'll know the answer. But hey, we hope you all love the show. You know that we love you. Thank you to Woundwise IQ for sponsoring our trivia of the week. And thank you to Help Me Startup for sponsoring the T-Ross Chug and Chant. And if you're interested in sponsoring one of the upcoming shows, please reach out to us. Next week, T-Money, we got Andy Montgomery here, local golf pro at Kinsale Country Club. We're going to talk the Masters, T-Money. It's Masters Week next week. If you're interested in being a guest, let us know. And if you'd like the show, please press the like and subscribe button. Look for us on all the platforms at Father, Son, and Holy Sport. T-Money, good luck with your picks. I hope you bring it home, man, except for a couple of your guesses there. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. It's going to be a great final game there with those two teams, I think. Good luck, man. May the best man win.
Yep. Good luck.
Go Baylor.
Good luck to you, man. Going to be a fun weekend. Excited to talk some golf next weekend and see who wins this one. I'll be watching this weekend, drinking some wine in Napa. So you enjoy that cold back home, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
All right. Go Baylor Bears.
See ya. Peace.